All right, YokeUp, this is Symbolic. How are you? This is in response to your video called Atheists, Can We Get Along? Which was a video response to my friend Maurice, Elder Edwards' video on his campaign called Why Can't We All Get Along? To establish and reestablish respect among believers and unbelievers. God, I was starting to sound like Maurice's commercials. I've listened to him too much, and his voice is so good, that it's starting to get to me. I was starting to sound like him. Anyway, had a couple things to contribute to the conversation. I'm atheist, by the way. I'm one of those weak atheists, the ones that do not believe but do not disbelieve. So I'm committed to an open mind. Open heart too, man. Open heart too. A couple things to contribute to the conversation on respect. Establishing and reestablishing respect, because I think Maurice is really on to something here. You know, I've always considered respect to be the basis of communication. And another factor is treating people as individuals. The first mistake I think we all make is we group each other into these groups: believers, unbelievers, Christians, atheists, or what religion have you, or non-religion, agnostics, and of course the atheist world is filled with all kinds of little possible ways to cut it up and define things, So, and anyway, in any event, as soon as we start treating each other as members of groups rather than treating each other as individuals, it makes it difficult to communicate one-on-one. And then respect is really, really key. I mean, mostly when I see conflict erupt with people, and I do some mediation work, I see it's because at some point somebody triggered disrespect, or was interpreted or misinterpreted as giving offense, or having committed disrespect, and that just triggers conflict and animosity. One way this can be done is somebody can use name calling. I've seen on the comments to your video, I see the war is already broken out. The conflict is already broken out and people are polarized. And if you read through there, you'll see the seeds of it. You'll see people lumping each other into groups, which sort of takes away people's individual identity. So I think that kind of makes people feel right away that they've been somehow depersonalized or dehumanized, depersonalized in any event. And then you'll see that somehow someone has triggered, either there's been a name calling or slur, maybe, or some other form of disrespect, which then triggers something. And for me, this is one of the big challenges on YouTube, is not to get pulled into negative things, not to become too defensive or take something personally. How to respond to what appears to be disrespect, or what is disrespect, is a real challenge. Requires apparently more maturity than I always have, or that I can muster up at all times. Because I've descended. I mean, I think in a comment, I apologized to you earlier, I've left some angry messages or angry comments on your videos, and I'm very sorry to both you and Carolyn for having done so. I just get pulled in. I get pulled into the negative energy and stuff, and what am I gonna? I got to keep practicing. Anyway, a quick story. My grandfather was a adamant, strong atheist. He firmly believed that God did not exist. Firmly, I mean adamantly. That was almost a religious, well, in a way it is a religious tenet, because it's a belief about God, or the lack thereof. But he had a relationship with a Jehovah's Witness who would visit him once per week for years, YokeUp. And once a week, the Jehovah's Witness would come up. They would have coffee, and they would spend about an hour. They'd take out the Bible, and they would, dispute about the Bible. But it was always respectful conversation, and this relationship went on for years. And though you couldn't really call it a close friendship, it was a friendship of sorts. I mean, we always called the man Grandpa's friend, and they warmly looked forward to seeing each other, I don't recall at what point the relationship ended, but no one ever had ever told me in the family that there was any negative thing attached to it. But they did have a good relationship, but it was always respectful, and they teased each other a bit, you know. But there was no name calling, and they didn't really group each other into groups and say, well, I am an atheist and you are a believer. You know, they dealt one-on-one, and it was just very interesting. And they hit some of these hot topics, you know, really heavy questions, you know, like you know, I mean, the Christian Jehovah's Witness really expressed a concern for my grandfather going to hell and burning in hell, and said, Claudio, I really don't want to see you burn in hell. I've become fond of you over these years. And my grandfather would say, well, thank you. I wouldn't want to see you suffer either. But tell me, how will you be able to enjoy yourself in heaven if I'm burning in hell? Now, these are very painful questions, very, very difficult questions, and they coped with them. They coped with them because they had developed a fondness for each other, and they also, as I think I pointed out, I mean, really the foundation was respect and treating each other as individuals, not as members of a group, you know. Anyway, I want to make that my contribution so far to this conversation. I usually, I'm sure I'll have something else to say because I'm loquacious. I talk too much. Okay, YokeUp, take care. Bye-bye.